Can the world economy crash? The answer is yes, absolutely. It's already happened before. We saw it in 2008 in the global financial crisis, and it came dangerously close again in 2020 with the COVID pandemic bringing everything to a standstill. So the idea that the global economy could crash again isn't that far-fetched. In fact, it's built into how the system actually works. From time to time, a crash is inevitable. Now, the real question is, could it crash again and soon? The answer is unfortunately yes. This is due to just one man, Donald Trump. Since he took oath, Trump has openly declared trade wars. He's threatened sanctions on countries that refuse to use the US dollar. Now, that may not sound like a big deal. It undermines confidence in the US dollar, which certainly is a big deal, as the dollar is not only the American currency, but it's the world reserve currency. If countries begin to shift away from using it due to trade wars or fear of political retaliation, the entire foundation of the world global financial system gets shaky. And when confidence in the dollar is shaken, markets get nervous, capital moves, and countries start to de-dollarize. And the risk of a global economic breakdown goes up. Trump's economic moves are aggressive. They signal to countries that if you don't play by our rules, we'll punish you economically. In the globalized world, where everyone is interdependent on trade, you just can't behave like that. Especially as a global superpower, you will really hamper your country's economy and the future stability of your own people, and certainly you will hamper the economic prospects of the whole of G20. Trump is actively and needlessly pushing the US into a trade war with China. It's been chaos. In the latest update, Trump upped the tariffs on Chinese imports to 145%. Here's the problem. These tariffs don't make any economical sense at all. In fact, the situation has got so farcical that the usually measured Chinese president has called Trump's economic policies as a joke. What Americans should know, whichever side of the divide that they're on, is that tariffs are taxes on imports. They don't punish China. However, they will raise prices for Americans. If you buy a car, a phone, or even an electronic good, chances are either part of it or the whole item has come from China. 145% tariff means prices go up, not for corporations, but the ordinary American. And with higher prices due to tariffs and no comparable rise in wages or income, then the result is inevitable. Lower quality of life for ordinary Americans who will end up paying more to get less. Inflation goes up, living standards go down. So why doesn't Trump seem concerned? Because history has shown that in times of crisis, governments bail out the system, and he and his cronies have already benefited from such crises before. In 2008, we saw the rise of quantitative easing, a policy where central banks create money to buy bonds and financial assets. It kept economies from collapsing with a run on the bank. The same thing happened in 2020 when the American government printed more money than ever to keep things ticking over. Did those bailouts solve the deeper issues? Not really, but they did protect the financial system, and they definitely benefited the wealthy who already owned the vast amount of assets. This certainly wasn't a recovery for everyone. It was a wealth transfer to people who already owned assets. And this is where Trump's true economic policy becomes very clear. He's not just okay with a crisis, he's betting on one. He and those cronies around him made a fortune. Wealthy donors, hedge funds, asset managers made fortunes in the last couple of crashes. Not because the economy got any better, but because the system pumped trillions into their assets and very little into productive investment or small and medium enterprises or working families. You see, the structure of these bailouts disproportionately benefit the people, the wealthy, who already own assets, stocks, real estate, commercial properties. Since 2008, stock markets soared. real estate values jumped, commercial property boomed. But for most, wages flatlined, living costs rose, economic security dropped. GDP growth has slowed. For many, they still haven't recovered from the COVID fallout. But the wealthy, especially those with speculative assets, have done very well indeed. And that, I believe, is Trump's strategy. He doesn't care about families trying to afford a car, groceries, or rent. If a crash does occur, more money will be pumped right back into the system. And he will say, look how well I've done for you. The stock market's up, the tech sector's up, real estate is up, and I've got you record low interest rates again. I've got you record trade deals. Everyone is dealing with me. I know the art of the deal, and I'm making America great again. Next, I'm going to bring down that deficit with all the money that I'm getting with these tariffs, and we can concentrate it on completing that wall. Ultimately, it's a system that's designed to benefit the few at the cost of the many, and Trump very well knows that. If you found this video interesting or informative, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you know when I next upload. Thanks for watching.